1. A fun story happened to me. My grandfather was having a birthday, so our family was going to meet up at our favorite poor boys sandwich restaurant near Joliet. My grandparents had 4 children, and they all had at least 3 each. So when we get together, there are usually 30 or so if we bring significant others and kids. One thing we always do is make reservations ahead of time so we can be accommodated. At the time of these events, about a year ago, I was working for a car rental company. Because we are big on looking professional, all males have to wear dress pants and a blue or white shirt. The job itself sucks, and we usually work from 6:45 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. each day. This day, we happened to stay a little later, and I was unable to leave early enough, even though I mentioned our 6:30 reservations a week prior. So I raced from the branch to the restaurant, and I am only 30 minutes late. I see my family in a private section behind some tables and make my way over to them. As I'm making the corner to announce my arrival, an older lady gently touches my arm. I look down at her in a concerned manner and notice she is next to her husband and across from a younger couple who could be family. She kindly asked me, "Can you please bring me back a to-go box?" At this moment I realize that my black slacks, white dress shirt, and no more tie combo definitely resembles that of the staff's. I tell her, of course, and turn around to go get it. I peek around the bar and notice there are some boxes in the kitchen, so I naturally do what any good waiter would. As I walked back to the table and hand her her box, the table is laughing. She begins to apologize, saying she was so sorry and thought I was staff. Then tells me how embarrassed she is that her son and husband had to point out what she did. They tell me that this is her birthday, and I tell her it's also my grandfather's, who is sitting right there. As I point to my family, I notice they are all watching. I can't help but laugh as my family all cheers and asks for things they need. I love my family. 2. Alright, so this happened about 3 months ago, but I'm going to try and recall everything to the best of my abilities. I'm working on the sales floor. I'm an ASM. Putting product back in its place, straightening up tables, picking stuff off the floor, the usual. My cashier comes up to me and almost begs me to help her with a customer. I'm a little put off because my cashier is more than capable of handling herself, and she doesn't normally call me over unless it's for an unruly customer. I walk over to the register where a mom and her daughter are waiting. I ask what's the issue. "Mom, come on, it's not that serious." Mom completely ignores daughter. Talking to me. "Hi. I came to return these jeans. They don't fit, but your cashier is telling me I can't get the full refund." "Alright, let me see the receipt and I'll see what I can do." I look at the receipt. Denim pants. She had only paid $15 out of $20 because she used a $5 reward towards the purchase. I instantly know that she's a card holder. Card holders get more points when they spend money using the card. When they've accumulated enough, the customer then receives rewards in the form of discount coupons that can add on top of each other. Rewards are non-refundable and one-time use only. Okay, so I see you used a reward for your purchase. So you only paid the discounted price of $15. I can only refund you what you paid out of pocket. The jeans rang up at $20. That $5 reward was mine, so I should get it all back. I can't allow my eyes to roll. I've gotten in trouble for it before, so I hold myself back. I explain it again. Rewards are one-time use only. I can't refund them. I can only give you the $15 because that's the amount you paid for. But the jeans rang up as $20, and I want my $5 reward back. I can't do that. The registers wouldn't allow it. Not even the store manager could authorize it. At full price, the jeans do ring up at $20, but you used a reward towards the purchase and only paid $15 out of pocket. I can't give you more money than what you paid at the time of purchase. We go back and forth with this for like 10 minutes. I have to stay firm on this one. The registers wouldn't allow it. You can't refund a reward because a reward isn't a gift card or a store credit. It's a discount used by the bank that owns our store credit card, and I've got no power over that. Mom is obviously getting irritated, but there's literally nothing else I can do for this woman. You know what? Give me your corporate number. Alright, give me a second, I just have to write it down for you. I know that it's a general rule that we in retail do everything we can to deter customers from calling HQ, but there's nothing I can do for this woman. Nothing. I can't offer a discount on a return, I can't give her more money than what she paid for, and I can't refund discounts either. I give it to her. You stay right here, don't go anywhere. I'm getting my money back. The urge to roll my eyes was incredible. I already know how this is going to end. Daughter is so embarrassed, she takes her phone and dials the HQ number too. I don't understand why right away, but at this point, I really didn't care. Nothing was going to help anyone. One of those damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of situations. Mom is looking at me while she's talking on the phone, like we're having a staring contest. And it was so uncomfortable. She starts by giving them my store name, number, the situation, her receipt number, then my name, her demands, and suddenly the staring contest ended. She walks off to the side for a few minutes, stares at me some more while fighting with whatever poor soul at HQ answered her call, and then she hangs up. She doesn't say anything to me, only takes her receipt, her bag, and denim she tried to return and leaves the store without a word. The call wasn't on speakerphone, but I can only assume that HQ had stated the same information that I had. I never saw her again in my store, but I did hear she tried to do the same thing at a sister store about an hour's drive away a few days later. And the daughter was my saving grace that day. Regardless if you guys believe me or not, she called HQ, not to complain about me, but to complain about her own mother. My cashier had overheard the daughter while I was wrapped up with the crazy mother, and that's how I found out. Daughter was telling HQ how this wasn't my fault, I was just doing my job. Her mom was trying to get money she didn't spend, and that she didn't want my cashier or myself to get in trouble. A few days after this incident, my store manager had gotten a mass email from our DM, district manager, about the incident. She didn't name me or my store in the email. Rewards are still non-refundable, and under no circumstances are we to refund them. No exceptions. It was also to tell all stores in our district. Mom had been banned from all stores within the district. I haven't figured out why she had been banned from all stores. I'm waiting on that story myself. But if I ever find out, I'll be sure to update this tale. 3. So this happened just the other night, Friday to be exact. I work in a supermarket on checkouts. I've not been there a year yet, but I had gotten pretty used to the layout and helping customers find items they were looking for. Now for the hitch. My workplace is currently undergoing renovations. Everything has moved, and I mean everything. Not even the produce is in the same place anymore. Anyway, I had been cleaning the closed checkouts and went to refill all the spray bottles from the chemicals cupboard before my break. I was just about to go into the storeroom when a customer stopped me. Now don't get me wrong, I have no problem with helping customers find the products they're looking for, but I've only been back for a couple of shifts after a week off, and I'm still trying to learn where the products are myself. Excuse me, but you used to have a fridge down here, points to butchery section, with all the chilled pet meat. Do you know where it is now? Sorry, sir, I actually have no idea at the moment. I work checkouts, so I'm still learning too, but if you like, we can go and have a look for it together. It could be in the new freezer section down the other end of the shop. Well, that's not bloody good enough. At the warehouse. Sort of like my country's version of Walmart, or Target, I guess. The managers train their staff to know where every single item is on every shelf in every aisle. Why don't you know? For the record, this is baloney. I've been to the warehouse on multiple occasions, and the staff haven't been able to help me find what I'm looking for. Well, first of all, sir, this isn't the warehouse. Second, we're currently under renovations and everything has moved. Third, I've just come back from a week off, and most things were moved during that time. I'm still trying to find my way around this place too. I'm sorry, I can't just tell you something that I do not know." "That's not good enough. You work here. You should know where things go. Now where's the dog roll?" Assat's teenage daughter is with him, and looks absolutely mortified with this behavior. Thankfully at that moment, though, I saw the stock manager walking towards us. If anyone's gonna know where something is, it's him. Because, sir, as I've just tried to explain, everything was moved while I was on leave. I work checkout, so where things are really isn't my area of expertise. However, here comes the stock manager. He should be able to help you. I told the stock manager what the asshat was looking for. "Ah, yes, that's in the new freezer section. Follow me and I can show you where it is." Asshat walks away with stock manager. His daughter turns around and apologizes for her father. I give her a slight smile and tell her not to worry about it, and continue on my way to fill up the spray bottles. I finally get outside for my break. I have a vent about asshat to my mate who works in the deli, and overheard his side of the conversation. He was yelling at me, and a fair amount of the staff and customers at that end of the store stopped to stare at him, and spent the remainder of my break trying not to cry. I had taken the previous week off for mental health reasons. Chronic depression is a mofo, and people like that don't really help. Please, even if someone is in the correct store uniform, even if they're obviously working at the time, please don't be that guy. You never know what's going on in our personal lives, and we are people too. Just because we work in retail doesn't mean we're robots and don't have feelings. 4. So a little backstory. Like most stores, the place where I work has a rewards program. Several rewards programs actually, but that's beside the point. In order to apply the one rewards program that doesn't have a neat little card to match, we need the phone number that's registered to the account. There's a button on the card reader / keypad things that, when pressed, brings up a screen where the customer can then punch in their number. Normally this works fine, no hitches, no sweat. The customer punches in their number, while I quietly beg whatever benevolent entity that will listen that nothing goes wrong. And then we all go about our business. Normally. About 10% of the time, however, a little fun cocktail of unknown circumstances throws a wrench in that series of events. The keypad freezes on the enter number screen. Then the keypad goes offline. We can't enter cards manually, so this basically means that unless they want to pay entirely in cash, they can't actually pay for their items. And even if they do pay in cash, the keypad is still frozen. The computer thinks that a crucial part of its system has suddenly disappeared. And we have to get the head cashier to restart the keypad and mess around with the computer, while I try to move the entire line of annoyed customers to another register. And then take a minute to log on and make sure I actually have change. For obvious reasons, this is a huge pain in the ass for everybody involved. To prevent this mess, we're supposed to enter the numbers on our computer. We used to have signs asking customers to let the cashiers enter the numbers, but those were taken down because something corporate something. No tape on the machines. Most people don't have a problem with it. The keyword being most. So a few days ago, an older man came to the register with a cart of large items. I grabbed my mobile scanner and went to scan his items, and as I was on the other side of the cart, I heard the dreaded beeping of the keypad. I was too far away to stop him, so I just crossed my fingers praying it didn't freeze. He finished punching it in, and I resumed scanning the items. When I went back to the register, it luckily hadn't frozen, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I said something along the lines of, "All right, that's everything," in that cheery customer service voice. You know the one, the polite, happy tone, with a hint of apologetic manner when necessary. This entire time I maintained that voice, although it steadily grew more apologetic as the encounter went on. I hit the total button and a pop-up window appeared, informing me that the number hadn't been found. I asked if he would like to try another number, and reached to hit the Enter Rewards Number button. I quickly stopped him, apologetically explaining that there was a chance it could freeze, and that they'd tell us to enter the number on the screen. We regularly receive lectures on it. This is the part where most people go, "Oh, okay," and tell me their number. This man was not most people.
Why not? I've done this before and it hasn't frozen.
Most of the time it's fine, but like 10% of the time it freezes everything, and we have to...
But I've done it before.
I'm sorry. Number? The man paused to give me his number, and after I plugged it in, he resumed complaining.
I've never had it freeze. It never freezes. I do this all the time.
I would like to know that I've had the keypad freeze on me several times now. And each time, it has been because a customer decided to plug in their number while either ignoring me or the signs. The head cashier isn't exactly a good person to annoy, and stupid mistakes usually lead to a lecture, which I was not in a mood for. So, yeah, he's not freezing my machine. Unfortunately, I have to try and relay the warnings with a big smile and cheery attitude. Like I said, there's still a risk. So we're supposed to do it this way. When it freezes, we have to restart everything.
But I've done it before, and it's never frozen.
I'm sorry, it's just policy. Name or PO number?
No name.
It was at this moment I hit back instead of enter. Goddamn buttons so close together. But that's on me.
I do this all the time. It's never frozen. I do this a lot. They let me do it.
I waited until he paused for a breath. The entire time he just kept repeating the same few lines over and over. This is how we're told to do it. I'm sorry, can I have your number again? When I pull up the screen to enter rewards numbers for about 2 seconds, the entire number screen shows up on the keypad. And after all this, what does this man do? He leans forward and tries to punch in his number. I've spent the past minute and a half listening to him complain, while calming, apologizing, and explaining exactly why this is a bad idea. And he still tried to enter it. Luckily, the screen disappears on its own after a few seconds. I'm pretty sure he was convinced that I had personally robbed him of this opportunity to freeze the machine. Sir, you can't put it in there. At this point, the screen is gone. He physically cannot enter his number.
Well, I've done it before and it's never frozen. I can enter it. I've done it before.
I'm sorry, I've been told to do it this way. Number? He repeated the number back to me and resumed complaining.
I've done this before. It's never frozen. I come here all the time. I
once again wait until he takes a breath, then tell him his total. $67.98. I understand, but there's still a chance it could freeze, so I've been told to...
Listen, I've been shopping here for longer than you've existed.
Throughout the conversation, this man has been steadily getting closer. He started out about half a foot away, even when trying to enter his PIN. At this point, he's pressed up against the counter. This somehow didn't quite register at the time. I was preoccupied with finishing the transaction so I could move on, since the line was about 10 people long, and there was only me and one other cashier on this end of the store. I'm sorry, sir, I don't make the policies. Sign here? The man continued complaining as he signed for his purchase and took his card from the, thankfully, unfrozen reader. I hit accept as fast as I could and waited for his receipt. When it finally printed, I handed it over to him. Sorry about the inconvenience. Have a nice day. At this point, I'm pretty annoyed. I don't like confrontation, and have tried using all my strategies to defuse this situation. Explain, apologize, and redirect blame to a higher authority, all while remaining calm. It's sort of like a trance. I'm going through the motions and reciting lines, and just mindlessly doing what I'm told. This trance was abruptly ended when the man snatched his receipt from my hand, and I found myself staring at a finger that was 5 inches away from my nose. As he spoke, the finger shook slightly, like the force of his words were pushing it.
Don't you ever argue with a customer.
He popped the bubble. The fucking personal space bubble. You do not pop the bubble. The man stormed towards the exit, and I blinked a few times as I watched him go, feeling more than a little rattled. Normally these people don't get to me. Like I said, it's kind of a trance, but this one did. I had about a minute to try and get my head back on straight before I was preoccupied by the next customer. I played it off with a little joke, and just like that I was back in the rhythm of it. So that's the part I jotted down 2 days ago. This is the bit I found out yesterday, when I was talking about the craziness of the situation with another employee. I don't know what his actual job is, he just goes where he's needed. I've seen him in multiple departments, including the area right outside the front door, where we stock items that usually require assistance loading, like massive bags of concrete mix or mulch. This also happens to be by 2 of the main registers where I was working. That's where he happened to be the day I encountered Rewards Guy. Now, this co-worker is a big guy. He's tall and wide and built like Maui from Moana. In addition, he also works as a security guard for a nearby shopping center. So he has one of those neon reflective vests that he often wears to his job. Now apparently, after I turned my attention to the next customer, Rewards Guy went up to that guy apparently thinking he was our store's security. Our store doesn't have security. Hell, people just grab power tools and run at least twice a week. And the most we get is 2 guys who are only there for a few days a week. And that's a recent addition. But this guy seemed convinced that my co-worker was security. Rewards Guy went off on that guy. He ranted about how I was disrespectful and a terrible employee, and how I needed to be put in my place. He wanted my co-worker to do something, anything. I don't know what he thought a security guard would do about a cashier, citing store policy. Maybe he thought that I would be kicked out of the store or something, I don't know. My co-worker, however, had been standing there the whole time, and he heard and saw everything. So when the man finished ranting, my co-worker went right back at him, telling him that he was out of line and that nobody just did that to his co-workers. The man didn't give up, instead picking a fight with him, and insisting that he set me straight. So my co-worker told him he could either leave or he could call the police. He chose to leave. A few quick notes. This entire transaction took place over about 2 or 3 minutes. I know I was being stubborn, and I could have handled the situation better. I really need to break that autopilot thing. When I expressed this to the head cashier, she told me that he was out of line, and reassured me that I did fine. But I'm not so sure. He also had another man with him, but I'm only adding this as an afterthought because the man did nothing. Nothing. The entire time he stood there looking between me and him, like he was watching a particularly boring game of ping pong. And finally, I can't wait until that machine freezes on him. 5. So I'm helping a friend make a nice big pot of seafood chowder, using my mom's excellent recipe. I had come straight from work, so I'm wearing casual business clothing, button-up plaid shirt with collar tan pants, rather than my usual off-work t-shirt and jeans. We realize that we are missing a crucial ingredient, lobster pâté. I groan because this can be hard to find. I agree to go out to find it. The grocery store near where she lived did not have it, and did not seem to know what it was. So I drove to the one near where I lived, where I knew they usually stocked it. I lucked out, and was able to get their last 2 cans. We only needed one, but I wanted the other for a future meal. Since I was already in the store, I grabbed a cart to get a few other things. After half filling my cart, why did a few things always turn into a full cart? I turned my back to my cart to get some cereal. As I turned back to my cart, I see a short-haired woman, soccer mom type, grabbing both cans of the pâté out from the rest of my stuff. "What are you doing? Give that back!" "I need it." "So do I." And I grabbed the 2 cans out of her cart and held onto them. She started to get really mad. I was about to offer her one of the cans, since I really didn't need 2, when she went off. This is close to what she emitted as one long sentence. "Who in the hell do you think you are? You can't do that, you bitch. You have violated and invaded my personal space. That is assault. I can't wait for the time that it takes your fucking lazy ass to get over to the right aisle to restock that, as I am in a hurry.
and you have none on the shelf. Give that back and get the fuck out of my way. Henry, help me!
The whole thing struck me by surprise, but that last bit confused me, until a smallish man came around the corner quickly. I assumed that this was Henry.
This idiot attacked me and took our stuff. Keep him here while I find someone to get him fired.
I should mention at this point that I am 6'4" and fairly bulky, compared to 5'6" Henry. Henry looked at me with a bit of uneasiness and resignation. I finally get a chance to cut into this conversation with a blurt of, "I don't work here, guys, I'm just shopping, like you." She doesn't care, says,
"Bullshit, I've seen you here before,"
and stomps off. Well, she might have, since this is my usual store, but I usually dress differently. I look at Henry, laugh, and tell him to try to have a nice life, and left with my pâté for the checkouts. As my order is being scanned through, I see the couple with someone I assume is a store employee. Maybe, maybe not. As she is pointing at me from well across the store, I assume that she is harassing him, as she is animated and red-faced. I am not sure what he said to them, but Henry grabbed her arm and started tugging her out of the store. I paid for my stuff and went back to my friend. Some folk are really weird. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, number 32. Well, we have done well with these, haven't we? 32. Lovely. Thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Currently waiting. Banging, barking has stopped. Excellent. Just a little bit of rain outside to keep me company. I don't mind the rain. Find it quite soothing, actually. Okie dokie, gonna keep this one brief. Let's see, this will go up on Tuesday. I'm getting all muddled here. I'm getting my days and everything mixed up. Yeah, Tuesday. So whatever you guys may be up to this week, I hope you're having oodles of fun. And if you're not having fun, well, I hope you get to soon. Okay, and with that I'm heading off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.